Welcome, viewers, to another exciting installment of People Watchers, the hit show where we challenge everyday Australians to embark on and record a new learning journey. Today's subject is George Soteropoulos, a pre-service teacher who is about to celebrate the third anniversary of his 29th birthday. Let's say hello. Hello, George. Can you hear me?
Hello? Who's this? Why do you sound like me?
Don't overthink it. You have been nominated by your creative arts in the primary years teacher to embark on a journey through the creative art strands of visual arts, dance, and music. To successfully complete this challenge, you need to genuinely engage in at least 15 hours of art learning, 5 from each strand. Then document your progress and we'll cut it all together into an exciting episode of our show. So how confident are you with these 3 strands of creative arts?
Okay, so I guess I'm rolling with this. So for visual arts, I'd say I'm about 40% confident. I've done some visual arts in uni to a passable degree. Never created anything I've been proud of though, so we'll go from there. For music, I come from a musical-ish family. A fair few of members of my family play instruments, but I've never found one I've liked, never really liked the subject, kind of just ignored it. And as for dance, I've got 2 left feet, can trip over and walk into the mailbox, and I can probably butcher any dance I try. But I'm ready to give this a go. Can I link all of this to the ATSL standard so it can benefit my learning?
Sure, George, but our episodes only go for 7-8 minutes and you seem pretty chatty, so let's get to it.
Thanks.
I knew going into this strand I wanted to walk away creating something I could be proud of, and I knew in order to do that I would need to undergo a lot of learning. To best achieve this goal, I knew I would need to feel more confident in my own ability and thought the best way to achieve this was by going back to the basics. This aligned with research conducted by Dean and peers, which explored how teachers who had poor visual arts self-efficacy could negatively impact their teaching practice and overall student outcomes. It also aligned with research conducted by Lormer and Moorfield-Coleman, which explored how pre-service teachers who lack confidence in the arts could benefit from additional learning. To kickstart my learning, I decided to turn to YouTube tutorials. It's how I learned how to sew, so I thought it could help me learn some art basics. I was able to find a 14-part series created by Paul Priestley, which focused on basic drawing and sketching techniques, such as how to correctly hold a pencil, working with shading, outlining, and creating some perspective. After completing his workshop, I knew I wanted to create a mural. Armed with my new skills, I felt more confident in this endeavor and began to sketch out what I wanted to create. During this process, I utilized various techniques and skills I'd obtained in the workshop, such as correct pencil placement, shading to create depth, and strong, confident line work. While I was happy with my pencil-drawn mural, it was quite difficult to see and I still wasn't really proud. So I took some time away from it and started to participate in the workshops organized by my university and began to work with paint. It was in this moment that I knew I wanted to paint the mural to complete the project. I worked with both watercolors and acrylic paint and determined as I was painting my mural on art paper, watercolors would be a poor choice as it could likely damage the paper. In addition to the workshops, I once again turned to YouTube for additional learning. Here's where I picked up some additional skills such as color mixing to create more color variety and color blending to create more depth. With this additional confidence, I began to paint, utilizing the techniques I obtained. While it took some time and the end result isn't perfect, I walk away from this with a George Soteropoulos original that I am proud of. It became clear to me throughout this journey to build confidence in my visual arts abilities and skills, I was consistently striving towards ATSL Standard 6, strengthening my practice through additional learning. Coming from a somewhat musically inclined family, you would think I would have a leg up, but you'd be wrong. I did not inherit the musical ear that everyone else in my family seemed to. I cannot hold a beat during clapping games, and unless I'm watching someone else's hands and mimicking their movements, I'm totally lost. I'm also pretty sure I'm tone deaf, so I didn't really know what direction I wanted to take this learning journey, but I decided to dive head first. Once again, I decided to start my learning journey with some research, focusing on learning an instrument as an adult. While most of the research focused on the cognitive, motor, and social benefits uncovered, as well as the participants' overall well-being, they also explored the motivation to learn an instrument amongst their participants. Many cited things like coping with recent losses or changes in their lives, assisting with emotional regulation, and simply finding a new hobby. But what struck out to me was the shared history between many participants. They consistently mentioned wanting to learn an instrument in their youth, but state they did not have the opportunity or someone to help them start their journey. In that moment, I realized how my apprehension to genuinely engage with and potentially teach music could impact my professional practice and future students. As I do with most of my problems in life, I looked to YouTube for a solution. After some time, I found an 8-part series created by self-proclaimed master teacher Zach Evans, which had great comments, so I decided to give it a go. Early in the videos, I was reminded as to why I gave up the keyboard. My fingers seem to have a mind of their own. But I was reminded of such things such as note names, the A to G chord progression on a keyboard, and the correct finger placement. However, after literal hours of practice, rewatching the videos over and over and over, I wasn't getting it. It's time for some help. When things go wrong, ask your mum for help. I asked my mum for some lessons as she has some skills on the keyboard and thought it might be easy to improve with light feedback. Through my mum's lessons, I was taught some alternating hand positions which I might find more comfortable, and some simple 3-note progressions like A minor, which is achieved by playing the A, C, and E key simultaneously. While I continued to practice and genuinely try, I honestly wasn't getting much better. This was not helped by it all kind of sounding the same to me. On both attempts where I was told I had improved, and attempts which were worse than prior attempts, sounded almost identical to me, and unless I knowingly hit the incorrect key, it was hard to identify a mistake in timing and rhythm. At the suggestion of my family, I took an online test to determine if I was tone deaf, and while this is clearly not medically accurate, it did indicate that I was likely tone deaf. Please enjoy what I was told and I consider was my best performance.
Yay!
As you can see, after literal hours of learning, I was still making mistakes and the timing isn't great. While I did not end this journey where I originally expected, I gave it my best effort, and this experience has increased my understanding of music as a subject and its importance and role within the curriculum. This learning journey continues to align with ATSL Standard 6 for professional learning, as the learning I have done, I hope to implement within my future practice. I have two left feet and I struggle to move my upper and lower body at the same time with any rhythm, so dance is going to be fun. Before doing anything else, I participated in the disco workshop organised by my university. I was admittedly a bit nervous and had some stiff movements, but I eventually loosened up, and while I was often a beat behind my peers and fumbled on the choreography, I was having fun. I knew I needed to conduct some research and decided to answer a question I had been wrestling with myself. What is the benefit to incorporating dance at schools? I didn't dance at schools, and I didn't really miss it, so I've never really given it any thought. To my surprise, a lot of significant research has been conducted around this very topic. Singh and Devi conclude that children who attended schools with strong, robust dance education formed stronger self identity views, they had higher self esteem and greater cultural awareness and respect, and were generally more empathetic individuals. Additional research conducted by Tao and peers concluded that simply participating in dance activities positively benefited children's physical activity and serve as an alternate, but not a complete replacement, to traditional physical education, with a lower barrier of entry and enjoyment. I then sought out some individual learning from a close friend who is an accomplished Brazilian dancer and tried to learn some choreography that I thought I could implement into a dance routine. While I did learn various dance moves, it never felt comfortable and I was mostly mimicking what I was seeing and was unable to replicate it without a live example. In the end, I decided to return to disco with a focus on the fun element, so I created a fun routine I hope you enjoy. This learning journey continued to align with ATSL Standard 6 for professional learning, and while I never think I'm going to be John Travolta burning up the dance floor, I now appreciate the important role dance can play within a student's learning and how my own knowledge and understanding can impact their overall learning and their outcomes.